4 alternative plans. Wow. We had a hall where we're going to do our affirmation, which we did successfully. And we had a field that our people were supposed to go to for our meeting, right? That was kept secret because we suspected this kind of thing were to happen, because there's no reason why the local government chairman in the company of so many policemen will go and harass the CDA that why should they rent out a field to us, that this event cannot happen here. Now, our people have successfully started going to the other field, right? The DPO of that area came and saw them, went in, asked questions, came out, made calls, and shortly after, a whole team of police came there, opened the gate, stood back, and then let the thugs in. Again, we have videos of all of this. So you see a situation where the police yesterday superintended attack of property, violence. My own sister was rushed to the hospital. My blood sister, the director of RV Foundation that was there to do our healthcare outreach, was rushed to the hospital and was stitched on her head. Wow. My aide had a concussion. He's bleeding from his ears. Wow. Right? The police were there and superintended the destruction of all these buses. In Nigeria, as hard as it is today, think about how much it's going to cost to repair all these buses.
Hello there, good evening, and thanks for joining us on Political Lens. I am Chukwuma. We are broadcasting on Metro SL TV channel 264. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People Television, and on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Now, let's bring in our guests, and we are joined in the studio here in Lagos, Nigeria, where we are broadcasting from by Barrister Darlington Agomo. He's a political affairs analyst and VOP in-house analyst. Good evening, Barrister Darlington Agomo.
Good evening, Mr. Okuran. How are you today?
Very well. Thanks for coming, sir. We appreciate your presence. We are also joined virtually by Engineer Gerb Okoye. Now, Gerb Okoye is a Nigerian-American civil engineer, former chair and current commissioner of planning in Gwinnett County, Georgia, United States of America. On November 8, 2022, he became a legislator-elect at the 2022 U.S. midterm elections representing Georgia State, and he took oath of office on January 9, 2023. Good evening, Engineer Gerb Okoye, and thanks for coming to Political Lens.
From here. Thank you for the invitation.
All right. Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for coming to Political Lens. We appreciate your presence. Now, on the show today, 2027 shocker. President Tinubu pleads with FBI not to release his personal details as Nass blocks Natasha'S Abuti return. And on Saturday, APC purportedly used talks to block Obi's rally. And this is coming from Vivo Roads, local Labour Party chairman in the 2023 elections, who has now effectively defected to the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Now, Bola Tinubu has asked a U.S. court to enforce its earlier ruling that allowed the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, to withhold certain documents deemed personal to him. In a motion filed on September 4, 2025, before the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, Mr. Tinubu, represented by lead counsel Wale Afolabi and other attorneys, argued that ongoing Freedom of Information Act requests by American activist Aaron Greenspan were aimed at exposing private details rather than examining government conduct. Well, the motion urged the court to uphold exemptions under the U.S. Privacy Act and FOIA Exemption 7, subsection C, which protects law enforcement records from disclosure when such release will amount to an unwarranted invasion of privacy. Mr. Tinubu's lawyer said Mr. Greenspan's FOIA request, which sought the entire FBI file on the Nigerian leader as well as the DEA records, did not align with the FOI's request for purpose of elimination and government activities, but were instead meant to fuel political disputes in Nigeria. In conferring prior to filing this motion, plaintiff asserted that the court already resolved the issue of whether exempt records must be produced, despite not having heard from the intervenor, Mr. Tinubu's attorney stated. Well, the court appears to have chosen this language because the agencies can still assert exemptions to the production of records. In response, Mr. Greenspan urged the court to dismiss the plea, insisting Mr. Tinubu was using his office to go after opposition figures and critics of his administration. And in another development here in Nigeria, the National Assembly management has turned down Senator Natasha'S Abuti request to resume legislative duties, insisting that her 6-month suspension remains in force until the Court of Appeal delivers its judgment on the matter. Abuti, who represents a Kogi Central Senatorial District, was suspended by the Senate in March 2025 over alleged misconduct following a heated exchange with Senate President Godswill Akpabio during plenary. The dispute reportedly stemmed from disagreements over sitting arrangements in the Red Chamber. Well, following her suspension, the lawmaker challenged the Senate's decision at the Federal High Court, Abuja, which ruled in favor of the Senate. Dissatisfied, she proceeded to the Appellate Court to seek redress. And in a letter dated September 4, 2025, and signed by acting clerk to the National Assembly, Dr. Yahaya Danzaria, the Parliament acknowledged Abuti Uduaghan's notification of her intention to return to the chamber on the same date, which she claimed marked the end of her suspension. However, the management clarified that her suspension formally took effect from March 6, 2025, stressing that the case remains sub judice and therefore prevents her reinstatement at this time. It further assured that the embattled lawmaker will be duly notified of the Senate's final decision once the court delivers its rulings. With this development, Abuti Uduaghan's suspension stands until the Court of Appeal issues a definitive verdict on the dispute, leaving her constituents without representation in the Red Chamber for the time being. And on Saturday, that's last Saturday, the venue for a rally to receive Badebo Vivo's reception into the ADC was stopped by agents of the APC, who had the backing of the Nigerian police. Now, this is according to Vivo Royce himself. The rally was built to host the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, former governor of Osun State, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, and other bigwigs. Gentlemen, we have packed a lot, so let's start to unpack them from the beginning. And let's start with you, Barrister Darlington. Now, can we have your broad reaction to yet another request by the president that FBI should not release his details because it could be damaging to his personality? Barrister, let me learn. What is the president hiding?
Whatever he's hiding will not hold water. You see what we're talking about, investors. How can investors come with this kind of thing, Mr. Okoro? Are you aware that this thing has gone viral all over the world? A sitting president of Nigeria, telling the whole world not to reveal his criminal records. What does that tell you? Mr. Okoro, can you do business with such a president when he comes to you and say, come and invest in my country? Can you? You can see the person demarketing Nigeria. You can see the person refusing investors to come into Nigeria, Mr. Okoro. Do you even know what is going on here? This man, he paid money. Somebody from US said that over $2 million is involved in this thing just to stop somebody's record from being reviewed. If Mr. Tinubu have a very good record, Mr. Okoro, will he be going through this route? And that is the same man who is ruling Nigeria. It's not only the FBI, I hope you know. Yes, DEA is involved, Drug Enforcement Agency. You can see the kind of character that is presiding over our affairs in Nigeria, Mr. Okoro. Have you seen why things are not moving? Have you seen why Nigeria is where it is now? How can such a character represent good governance? Just tell me, how? Can you put something on nothing? No, can you put something on nothing and expect it to stand? The whole world should come to the aid of Nigeria. We are in a very big trouble in the hands of Tinubu. He has dealt with us in a manner unprecedented in the history of this country. Everything that is bad, everything that is obnoxious, everything that is illegal is what that man represents. Yet he's presiding over our affairs. How can we move forward? How can Nigeria survive in the hands of a man like that? Please, somebody should tell me. Is it possible? Can Nigeria ever get it right under Tinubu? Look at how much effort he's wasting. Trying to stop that record. How many times now? Since 2023. Even before that time. It started around 2022, towards the end of 2022. This man had been fighting that the US government should not release those records. Can you just imagine? And this is somebody that Nigerians are fighting that he should come back to office. Are we doomed? Mention any other country in the whole world that has such a president has a man as their president. No, just tell me one person, one in the whole wide world that has such a character as their president. And shamelessly, he's gone all over the world looking for investors. Shamelessly. Somebody of that character. How can anybody do business with him in the name of Nigeria?
No, Barrister, the point of it is the president says, look, these things are personal. He says these things are personal.
Please, keep your personality to yourself. Mr. Okoro, don't let me get annoyed with you now.
No, Barrister, there's no point getting angry. I'm just telling you what the president said. What
I will get personal with you. What is personal about is the president of Nigeria is a public figure. President of Nigeria, there is nothing private about him again. Everything about Tinubu, we should know. We should know. We should know. That is the process.
No, the records that they are talking about predates his ascension to office. His assumption of office.
That is the reason why. Even in that US, Mr. Okoro, in that US, whenever you aspire to such a high office, Mr. Okoro, what do you call it now? Data processors, they will start from your childhood. They will start from your childhood when you were born. Who are your parents? What you have done and what you did not do. Is that not true? How is it that in the case of Tinubu, nobody knows where he came from? Nobody knows his parents. Nobody knows his childhood. Nobody knows the family he came from. All the things he did before, nobody knows.
No, Barrister, the things that you are mentioning now, are they really necessary? Should we know all of this about the president?
Even the Bible, the genealogy of Jesus Christ is known.
Okay.
Is that not true? That's why they call him son of David, because he came from that family.
Okay.
Even in the Bible, the genealogy of Jesus Christ.
You know why I'm asking this, and a lot of Nigerians are asking too. Should this impact the government? Should it impact deliverables in government?
If you have such a person as your president, will you be comfortable with him? Answer me.
But a lot of Nigerians are.
No, they are not. They are being forced to accept him. That is why they will not allow anybody to do anything in Lagos State, because it will not be good for the image of Tinubu. That is why they are doing everything to force everybody to accept him and his APC. So are you not going to tell me that everybody APC now, they love Tinubu? On what ground? You mean people are that stupid? How can Nigeria in this age and time accept such a human being as our president? On what ground? Mr. Okoro, on what ground? You are fighting to hide your record. Look, whether Tinubu like it or not, he will never escape whatever record is in US. Whether in or out of office, it will come to light one day. And this thing will follow him forever and ever. He cannot run away from it. It's a question of time. Those records, they will equally be revealed when the time comes. A president of America will come who will say, bring out everything about this man. He will reveal those records. And he will apologize to Nigerians at the end of the day. Because this is an embarrassment to all of us. Remember when the certificate in the CSU came up, Nigerians suffered the ripple effect all over the world. They started checking the certificate of every Nigerian, from UK to America, from America to Canada. Everywhere Nigerians are working, they started asking them for their certificate. Is that not true? Is that not true, Mr. Okoro? Just because of one man, to tell you what this man has done to us. And shamelessly, he has not even uttered the word to say, I am sorry, he just pretended, using brute force.
Okay, all right. Now let's come to you, Engineer Geb Okoye. Good evening once again. Now, can you help us understand why it's been difficult for the FBI and the DEA to release these details? And they are going back and forth, even with the Chicago State University. Is it how US treats vital information regarding politically exposed persons in the United States? Can you walk us through, what you understand? What are the impediments? Why is it difficult for the FBI to do that? And we understand this same FBI finds it very convenient, to walk into a president's apartment like they did to Joe Biden, to look for information. Exactly. Unhindered, unconstrained. So why is it difficult for the FBI? There's been this back and forth, court here, court there, issue here, and go and don't go. Why is it difficult? Can you let us understand why they are treating the Nigerian case in this manner?
Thank you so much for the question. Let me start by telling you that even myself, when I ran for the House of Representatives, everybody looked into my record. Simple. Everybody looked into my record. And of course, I put my record up front so that people can now go and check. It's just that simple. So I think that the best thing Mr. President would have done is to put his record out there. If people like it, they'll still elect him. Hey, we have Mr. Trump. He has so much garbage in his record.
Oh.
And we know it. And even there's another one that he's been fighting to stop about some stuff with young girls. He's fighting to stop that, but it will eventually come. But at this point, nothing surprises us anymore because we already know that he is a man with shady characters.
Okay.
But he was elected. Now, FBI has to be ordered by courts to release information. They are not in the business of releasing information, but they are in the business of collecting them. You understand? So it has to go through the legal system to have the records released. And that's what is going on right now. Mr. President, in my opinion, must have some issues that he considers damaging in his record, that he has to spend money in court fighting the release of such records. So, but the truth of the matter is that the legal system here will work itself out. In the end, I believe those records will be released in the end because Freedom of Information Act, that's a FOIA, is going to override, some of the argument that I have heard his lawyers are making.
Okay. Now, how does this put out the U.S. justice system? Because this is not the first time. You recall in 2022 and 2023, even when he had become president, we had this issue of going back and forth with the Chicago State University, finding it difficult to say, look, this was our student at some point in time. So, and we also had cases where it looks like from our end here, from our perspective, that the U.S. justice system, the U.S. courts, they were playing some kind of games. Is it what always happens? Or I go back to that question. Is it because Nigeria is involved? And how, in all of this, do we see the United States trying to hide something for Nigeria? At some point, there were leaks, there were information out there that the person that is in the eye of the storm was some kind of, rendering some services to the FBI and to the CIA, because at that point they said he was an active agent. So is that why it's difficult for the CIA, FBI, and all of that to come forth, to be, they are not forthcoming in saying, look, this is exactly what is with this individual. And the courts were like being dodgy and cagey about the whole thing. What do you see here? Is it that the United States is trying to play some form of game with the African democracy and Nigerian democracy, to be very specific? Because you understand that some of the things they have allowed, with regard to this issue, they will not condone those things in the United States of America.
Okay. First of all, you have to understand that America, this is foreign politics, international politics, and diplomacy. All right? If it's about interests too. So if there's something that they're getting from Nigeria at the moment that is very useful to them, remember who is the president of Nigeria. That's the person who is involved in this case. So they may have to delay it the much they can to get those things they wanted before a verdict will be given. But they will be given. The only thing is, it just really depends.
Okay.
But the system will eventually work out. The information will be released.
Okay.
May not be today.
All right, may not be today, but I think the barrister here will share your optimism, because when you say that, look, at the end of the day, it will be released. Now, barrister, when those information is released, when those information are released, how do you think, that it could affect the president's chances in 2027? Especially, I want you to look at it from the legal angle, because, at a point, Atiku Abubakar went to the US and got information, but the Supreme Court said that time, look, it was statute bad because the time had passed. But the way, it was at their discretion to accept it or not. Now, from the beginning of filing papers with INEC and all of that, what do you think that those information, that if they are released, would they be of any use to the Nigerian people, to INEC?
Of course.
And to his opponents? Of course. And what would that be?
Now, Mr. Okoro, listen very well. Criminal matters is not status bad. I hope you know that.
Okay.
It's only a civil matter, but in this case now, it's a criminal matter.
No, but during that period, the Supreme Court said, look, the time has elapsed for you to submit evidence.
They didn't say so. They only said that you brought it late.
Which means that the time has passed.
That you brought it late does not mean that it can no longer be useful. If something is statute bad, you can't bring it up again.
Okay. But
in this case now, since Atiku brought those documents late in the last election, there is nothing wrong if you bring it up early this time around.
Good.
Yes, that is what we are going.
No, so as at that point, it was statute bad because the time had elapsed. But
it came late. Coming late is different from statute. Statute bad means sine die. That means you can't try it again.
Okay.
If it is statute bad, it is statute bad.
Okay.
You cannot say if something is statute bad in 2023, will it now be on statute bad in 2027?
Okay, because it had to do with the elections. Because the elections had come and gone, and there were time limits for you to submit documents and evidence and all of that. Okay.
He said it came late. That is the word they used. It came late.
Okay.
So they couldn't have used that word, status bar. No, it's not possible.
Okay. So it's important to understand the difference between status bar and
that is why I am strongly suspecting that this time around, Atiku and his supporters, they should bring those documents early this time around.
Okay.
Whatever Tinubu is going to submit to INEC, if he's going to contest, so we are going to interrogate it. If he brings those documents again, then there will be a problem for him. Okay. Because you cannot bring a document that is shrouded in controversy in 2023. You now bring it up again in 2027. It will not work. And if you do not bring it up, maybe you not bring. We not ask the one you submitted in 2023. Where are they? Where are they? That means it's perjury. You lied on oath.
Okay. All right. All right, Barrister. It's interesting to know that look, something could still be done. For those that need it. Now let's move away from that and talk about the development in the National Assembly, where the Senate has blocked the return of suspended Senator Natasha'S. Now, the National Assembly clerk says she can't return because the case is in court. So her coming back will make it sub judice. I will be, violating the rules of the court and all of that. What's your reaction to that?
Now, Mr. Okoro, before I talk of that of Natasha, let me say something for the National Assembly.
Okay.
It is their responsibility to interrogate this relationship between Tinubu and the American Secret Service.
Okay.
That is their responsibility.
What can they do? What can they do in that
regard?
Good.
They should find out. They should find out from FBI and CIA. These active assets that Tinubu represents in Nigeria, are they blackmailing him? The money we are looking for, all this money that is missing here and there in Nigeria, is Tinubu taking it to somebody to cover up for him? Is it not possible that such a thing is going on? Because this is very vital. I don't know why a National Assembly should hear and see such a matter and they will keep quiet over it. They should find out from President Tinubu, what business do you have with this American Secret Service?
Okay.
And they should find out. It's very important so that we know where our money is going. It cannot be far from it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now,
okay,
on
good.
Natasha, look, Mr. Okoro, whenever a matter is in court, fine. The normal thing is for you to wait. You don't even, you don't even trample on the matter in court until it is adjudicated upon. But in this particular case, two things are involved here.
Okay.
There was a suspension that started before the matter went to court. And then after the ruling, the woman was not satisfied. She now went for an appeal. It is that appeal that is pending now.
Okay.
Now, I expected their lawyers, the lawyer of Natasha, to ask questions. If this woman can return to her responsibility because she represented a constituency, that constituency is not even her own matter. It is the matter of the people she represented. Because under the law, you don't need to disenfranchise the people. The lady is representing a constituency, and you cannot shut down those constituencies because you have a matter with her. Okay. Are you getting what I'm saying? You need to separate it. So,
all right, right. Land on your thoughts. Sir.
Yes, I am thinking, or I'm suspecting, or I'm advising that their lawyers should go and find out from the court whether this woman can return to her seat. Why this matter is pending? Because we have seen it happen time and time again. Okay. Yeah, we have seen it happen. While suspended matters can record while their matter is in court in that assembly, it has happened.
Yes, I'm happy that you brought us to this point because I wanted to ask you from the legal angle. From the legal angle, is it permissible that while the case is ongoing in court, she can come and resume her duty?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not? The court did not say you should not return.
Okay, so does this look like which?
The appeal is still there.
Does it look like which ones?
Yeah, of
Do you
course.
think that they are still after her?
Of course. I don't tell you that there has been a precedent in that Senate where members who were suspended were asked to return. Well, the matter is, in fact, the matter later died a natural death because there was no diligent prosecution. Yes. That has been the process in that assembly. Okay. So why is that own different now? Did the court say you must not return because you have a matter with us?
Okay. Okay.
Where was it stated in any of the judgment? The suspension has elapsed. She ought to come back. If you don't want her, it's a different matter entirely. You cannot on your own now impose another suspension on her.
Okay, so it's important. It's interesting to know that she can as well come back. She could come back.
Yes, because at this time nobody had trampled on the subject matter in court.
Okay.
Nobody.
All right, now let's go over to Engineer Geb Okoye. Engineer Geb, you have been in the Georgia House of Representatives. How do you treat issues of misunderstanding between principal officers and the legislator? I ask this in the light of, I'm sure that you have followed the Natasha issue since it broke out like 6 months ago. Now, in the case of, if this kind of thing happens in the United States legislature, I would like for you to relate it with your own experience as a legislator in the Georgia House of Representatives. When you have misunderstandings with your principal officers, how are they resolved?
You are not suspended. That's number one.
Okay. I'd like for you to take that again.
You are not suspended.
Okay, you are not suspended.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay. Now, you can have disagreements.
Okay.
With your principal. It's just disagreement. But your constituency sent you to the chamber.
Exactly.
Not your principal officers.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're going to still be in the house and you can give hell if you want. It's for your constituency to re-elect you next time or say, okay, enough of that. We're tired of it. Come back home. And they put in somebody else.
Exactly.
Now, from a layman's standpoint, the suspension of Natasha happened before the court. And the Senate was specific, 6 months.
Exactly.
It has been. Now they need to stand on their word and bring her back. Whatever the court outcome becomes, it will be considered at that time. But since 6 months are up, she should be back there.
Exactly.
And if Nigeria ever copied the American system, which I still disagree that they copied the American system, but if they ever did, she should be back. And she shouldn't have been suspended in the first place.
Exactly.
Okay, now, Engineer Geb, to be more specific, in U.S. legislatures, I would like for you to, relying on your own experience, do you have skirmishes like this between principal officer, legislator, and all of that? Do you have such skirmishes? Do you experience such?
Well, first of all, if what I heard is correct, it was a personal thing gone public.
Okay.
Right? In that case, if anybody gets involved, it may be your party that can get involved, and they might extract an apology from you or whatever. But it is your party, not the principal officer. Your party can discipline you, but not the principal officer. Simple as that. Stuff like that, if it comes up, is detrimental to whoever is suspected of wrongdoing.
Okay.
Politically, it has sunk some people's career politically. So it's not something you engage in without giving plenty of thought to it in this country. Okay.
Okay. Now the issue here, what led to all of these things is some kind of accusation of sexual advancement, sexual advances on the part of the Senate president and against Natasha. Up until this moment, the issue itself has not been
adjudicated upon.
It has not been adjudicated upon. But what we are dealing with is a principal officer having to suspend the Senate, having to suspend a legislature, and the rules of the Senate says
14 days.
For 14 days, and this woman was slammed 6 months suspension. Now, I'd like for you to have this at the back of your mind and tell us what differences are there between the legislature in Nigeria and at your own end there in terms of the independence of the legislature. And at a point, the federal government had to sue this woman for defamation and all of that. So I'd like for you to help us understand the difference. And like you said, if we actually copy, anyway, you said you heard that we copied, but from what you see, you are not sure that we copied. So can you help us talk more about the differences and what you think we can do to get to the level where you are at this point?
Well, we just need to be honest with ourselves if we want to get to this level, because we know the right things to do, but we just refuse to do them. And it's a power play that is keeping Natasha from going back to her seat. Because the truth of the matter is the person that would have been in trouble if it was in this country is the Senate president.
Exactly.
Right? He will be the one who would have been in trouble. But in this case, he is sitting there calling the shots, and yet he is implicated in this matter. First of all, we don't have Senate president here.
Okay.
Okay? The vice president will preside over the Senate when there's a close vote, so that he or she can break the tie.
Yeah, break the tie, yes.
The Senate Majority Leader runs the day-to-day business of the Senate. So we don't have, and that's one of the reasons I tell you I don't know which system Nigeria copied, because they have Senate president, we don't. And presidents are elected on a senatorial zones basis. Here, you run statewide for Senate. You run just like governors do. Okay. You run statewide. But in Nigeria, which is why Nigeria that has 36 states and the FCT has 109 senators. While here, with 50 states, we have 100 senators.
Can you imagine?
Okay, that means 2 senators per state.
Per state, yes.
Simple. And you run statewide.
Okay, so there is nothing like senatorial district or senatorial zone. No. The state is your constituency if you have to go to Senate at the federal level. Okay, that's United States Senate.
Yes. So that's, I'm just trying to point out some differences you were asking about that.
All right, and thank you very much, Engineer. We'll come back to you in the course of this show because we are coasting home. Now, let's come back to the studio where we still have Barrister Darlington Agomo. Now, Barrister, in the light of what has happened, do you think there's a possibility that Natasha, how soon do you think that appeal court case could be dispensed with?
As long as you are running this infamy called Nigerian democracy,
okay,
that lady may not return to that Senate until 2027. Because the same power that be may keep that matter at the appeal level until 2027.
Okay.
That matter is...
Now, what happens if she tenders an apology?
Sorry?
What happens if she tenders an apology? Says, I'm sorry for everything that happened.
No, they may not even admit it because they want to make sure that they discipline her.
Okay, what if she decamps to the
And that's wrong.
Even if she decamps to another party, she may not come back.
Okay.
She will only come back if there's another election in 2027. Okay. And then that party now elects her.
No, so that clearly means that the more she stays out of the Senate, the more her constituents are represented in the...
Of course, that is the infamy I'm talking about here.
Okay.
That's the infamy.
All right, Engineer Geb wanted to chime in. You said something.
The Senate is going against their own rule that says 14 days.
Okay.
They now went as far as 6 months. Even the court, Mr. Okoro, I am very, very ashamed of our court. The court should have shut that thing down based on the fact that they went against their own rule. The court would have asked you, come. Is it not 14 days that...
Because the same court already said you have no right to suspend her.
But who's obeying? Mr. Okoro, who's obeying?
All right, Barrister, let's
the
get
federal government even entered
I'm sorry, Barrister,
into the
let's hear from Engineer Geb. He has something to say. Go ahead, Engineer Geb.
I was just saying that it will be absolutely wrong for her to apologize, given what we know about the case.
Exactly.
If there are some things that we don't know, that's different. But given what we know, you see, it's time we stop treating women less than humans.
Okay.
You know? Can you imagine if that was your daughter, your sister, and as a matter of fact, she is somebody's wife.
Exactly.
And this happened.
Engineer, you think that it has to do with gender? It's more like gender bias or what?
Well, it's a power play.
Yeah,
and
because we have
bias.
seen these things happen to men as well in Nigeria.
Yeah, but hey, the attorney was right. This lady may never get back to that chamber until after the next election. Because listen, if we agree that it is right to wait until the court adjudicates the case with finality before she returns, knowing what happens in Nigeria, how do you think that case will ever come to an end before that election?
Because after the appeal, there's the Supreme Court too.
I'm telling you, that woman will be bad.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer. At this point, it's still a developing story. We'll see the next step that Natasha and her constituents will take to ensure that she goes back to represent them in the Senate. Now, let's move away from that and go to what happened on Saturday, where the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in the last election in Lagos State, Gbadebo Vivo Roads, has claimed that the police used APC talks to disrupt his political rally. And that rally was built to host Peter Obi and former Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, and it was also meant to be a formal reception for Vivo Roads after he left the Labour Party and now pitched his tent with the African Democratic Congress, ADC, the coalition party. Barrister in the studio, what level of impunity is that? What's your broad reaction to everything that went down on Saturday? You heard him, the footage that we played. You saw it, you heard it.
Yes.
Things destroyed, and APC went ahead, stopped him even when he had paid, used that same hall, and when they moved the venue, to another place, the police came, broke open the place, according to him, and let him talk and all of that. And up until this moment, the police commissioner, the police department has not said anything about it. What level of political impunity is that?
Are you aware when a Canadian court declared that APC political party, APC is the terrorist organization?
And PDP too, they said on PDP, okay.
Now,
so does this amount to terrorism?
In fact, what does terrorism do? They instill fear in you. That's the first weapon.
Okay.
Weapon of trade. they instill fear on you to make sure that you don't work, you don't settle down, that you have an emotional problem and all that. Mr. Okoro, what you are seeing now is a subtle means towards a one-party state. Whether you like it or not, Tinubu is surreptitiously taking us to a one-party state. And this is where I want the lawmaker, who is talking to us now, to blow this in open in the U.S. House of Congress, that this is the infamy going on in Nigeria. Are you getting me? Because if we allow this thing to continue, in fact, there will be problem in Nigeria. There are no two ways about it. Because how do you stop an opposition party from holding a meeting legally paid for on a particular venue, a private venue, not a government venue? And yet you now want to go and use the same venue to do your own meeting, a meeting you did not plan or prepared for. And you are telling me that that is politics. What kind of politics is that? Thank God we have a U.S. congressman talking to us. Mr. Okoro, this thing is acting to what Nixon did in 1972. Richard Nixon. When the Watergate scandal broke, Nixon did everything to cover it, trying to subdue it, trying to, cover it and all that, trying to make the opposition look guilty. But this thing will not die until 1974, when it was clear that the U.S. Senate was about to impeach Richard Nixon. They told him either to resign or to be impeached. The man chose to resign 2 years into his presidency, because that thing helped him to get into power in 1972. But because the people, oh my God, in fact, Mr. Okoro, when are we going to get it right? This type of thing that Tinubu and APC is doing is enough to cause a problem.
Barrister, when you say Tinubu, the president is vacationing somewhere.
Oh, no.
What has this got to do with him?
Okoro, who told them to do what they are doing?
So you think that the president will descend to the level to say... I'm sorry, Barrister. Do you think that the president will descend so low to call an LCD HM and to say, go and disrupt an event?
Mr. Okoro,
at that level, isn't the president bigger than all of this?
The world is a global village.
Okay.
In a second, you can give order from here to America. In a second, and it will be carried out.
I'd like for you to tie this to 2027. What do you see? What do you see coming? What do you see coming?
They are afraid that opposition will take over in 2027 because of their misgovernance. You know, one of the hallmark of a dictator who has failed is this type of thing. You are always paranoid. You don't want to see the opposition. You don't want to see them trying to flex muscle. You don't want to see them having popularity. You don't want to see the opposition doing those things that you did to get into power. That is just a hallmark. When you see this type of thing, go and check. The man at the helm of affairs is running a crook government, and they don't want to be exposed. So these are the things we have been talking about Tinubu and his government. Look at what is going on in U.S. court. Look at what is going on in Nigeria. Look at going on about the man himself. So on this basis, how do you think he would just allow anybody to come and overthrow him or remove him from office? These are issues. But in a Senate climb, this thing should not happen. In fact, in a Senate climb, Tinubu shouldn't even be president of Nigeria. He would have been impeached long ago because of all these things. But look at where we are.
All right, Barrister, unfortunately, we are running out of time. Now, let's go back to Engineer Garba Okoye. Now, Engineer, I would like for you to give us an insight again into what happens in the U.S. Do you have situations where Democrats and Republicans, the two major political parties, use the power of incumbency to enchant opponents and make it difficult for them to operate in a free space? Yes. Quick one, sir.
Frankly, I couldn't even understand what I heard when that guy talked about what happened to them, because such a thing cannot happen here. Oh. You do your thing and the others do their thing. Oh. It's as simple as that. You cannot block anybody. And frankly, I can be president here and visit a state that is governed by another party. That governor may decide not to come and welcome me, and I'll do nothing about it. It's the governor's prerogative to want to welcome me or not. But in Nigeria, the Lord is coming whenever a governor is coming. And also, it is. I just can't understand it, and that's why when you tell me that you copied the American system, I still don't believe it. And on another show, please make time to ask me about the differences, and I will simply chronicle them one by one for you to make my point. We still have a long way to go to get this, to get to where we are. But we do not have to go that long way because there's a system in place.
Exactly.
There's a system in place. It has been made easy for us. But we have to be God. If not, we play one.
Okay.
And that is the problem.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Agebokoye. I must admit that this has been very interesting. And like you said, I'd like to have you come back here next time and soon, you know, so that we'll talk more about the differences between the Nigerian democracy and the American democracy. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate your presence. All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Agebokoye. And to you, Barrister Galanton Agomo, we appreciate your presence. Now, this will be a good place to end the conversation. Many thanks to you two gentlemen for making this very show very, very interesting. And on behalf of the backroom staff, I am Chukwu Makoro. Up next is Issues with Jerry Abulahai. Bye for now.